but I do want to show you one of these trees that came down on this truck here. We did get permission, of course, from the truck's owner, but you can see it just completely smashed that passenger side. It really is a miracle, and if you see just where these bullets hit, you'll understand why. Out of the several bullets that hit this car, one hit right up here, another into the seat where that driver was sitting. Look at this large tree. I am standing, it is almost as tall as I am. If you take a look behind me, and I'll even step out of the way and have my photographer pan around a little bit, you can see it is still an incredibly severe situation.
Will, I like the way you think. 5 a.m. and we're thinking of those delicious Swedish meatballs, but unfortunately, the answer is no. And those poll workers you just mentioned, they are hard at work setting up for the polls to open in about 20 minutes. Let me step out of the way here and show you. You can see they're putting out signs. The problem is, the developer changed the grade of the land, causing flooding like this to destroy neighbors' yards that they've been using to stabilize that cement truck off the parking deck. And they've been bringing it over here and laying them on the ground. This right here is called Narcan, and just a spray into a nostril can help restore breathing in a person who has overdosed. We have some breaking news for you. AP has just called the race for Jeff Jackson. I just want to give you guys a concept of this devastation. I'm going to step out of the way and show you. NCDOT actually finished up their work on the pedestrian bridge a day earlier than expected. Where I'm standing right now might look like an ordinary living room with an ordinary Christmas tree and even ordinary presents unboxed on Christmas morning.
There is no one better to speak on this than Mariana Meyers, who moved to the United States in 2013 from the Ukraine. And Mariana, tell us, what is it like to watch what is happening in your country right now? There's two possible reasons for that. The first is that law enforcement possibly could be going through the process of getting those warrants sealed from a judge. August 2nd, 2020, 9:33 p.m. Mooresville police officers get in their car to respond to the Cravens' home after the Cravens' oldest daughter placed a 911 call saying her father, Chris, was threatening suicide.
The male subject is still outside of his home. Does anybody have a gun? Mother and son both confirming that he does have a gun on him.
Dispatch told the officers Chris may have a gun on him, but that no shots were fired. The officers parked down the street and began approaching the house when dispatch said Chris may be going back inside.
He is back in the house, and I can hear him yelling in the background.
Within seconds of arriving,
Police department, let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. Get on the ground. Cease fire.
Chris Craven complies when officers tell him to put his hands up, but puts them down shortly after.
Get on the ground.
Following the shooting, the officers told their supervisor they believed he either had a gun in his hand or was reaching for one.
It looked like something was in his hand, and then but at the same time he was making a furtive gesture, and then I could see firearm in his hand.
The video shows a gun was found near Chris's body after he was shot. The basis for the lawsuit against the town of Mooresville and the officers was that Chris wasn't reaching for his gun, rather complying with officer commands. They say he never made any furtive gestures or showed hostility. Text messages submitted to the court apparently shows a conversation between the officers. The day following the shooting, they texted each other to check in, saying, quote, "We did the right thing. He couldn't be reasoned with." But nearly a year later, when they received Craven's autopsy report, quote, "You got the autopsy yet? There's so many gunshots. We shot him in the neck. LOL. And dang, we going to prison." Even still, a judge ultimately ruled in favor of the police, saying, quote, "No jury could reasonably find that the officers used unconstitutionally excessive force in responding to Mr. Craven's immediate threat to their safety." They say your wedding is a night you'll never forget, but whoever said that,
one for the books, for sure,
probably never imagined it would go quite like this.
When it first happened, I thought, oh, it's stopped for a few seconds, it'll restart. And then I think we noticed that the door was just slightly ajar.
They were on their way up to their after party on the 16th floor of the Grand Bohemian, but never made it.
Elevator had a glitch, and here we are. It had to happen with the groom and I both stuck in the elevator, so At least it wasn't just one of us.
Bride, groom, and 4 of their family members and friends were stuck for 2 hours. Ultimately, Charlotte Fire had to come save the day and help them tie a different kind of knot.
They harnessed me up, got me in full gear, and pulled me up 4 floors.
Ask the couple and they'll tell you not being able to say goodbye to their guests was devastating.
We were not able to celebrate, do a last hurrah and kisses and goodbyes, and that's what put the damper on everything. That's how the wedding night had to end.
But how it felt to be hoisted up through an elevator shaft?
I would say James Bond a little bit more, maybe. Yeah, maybe Mission Impossible.
We've been here 4 years, and this is the first time this ever happened. I mean, we knew there was a small creek right here, but never got this bad.
Water rushing in from Irish Buffalo Creek, over Pine Street, and into the playground at Fred Wilson Elementary School.
We'll assess the damage. It might be several days when the water finally recedes, but we'll certainly assess that. And those are all things that can be replaced or refurbished or improved. Again, the most important aspect here is the safety of everyone in this community and the larger Kannapolis community.
Just steps down the road, about 30 people were evacuated from mobile homes on Tiffany Drive. A heart-pounding situation for those with loved ones waiting to reconnect.
I have multiple concerns. I have family members that are still in the house possibly. And then on top of that, my wife passed away 2 years ago, so I have a lot of valuable possessions.
Thankfully, Freddie Arroyo's family made it out safely via rescue boat. And through all those rescues, no serious injuries, other than a firefighter who was attacked by fire ants that had risen in the floodwater. As the water slowly recedes, emergency officials making plans for potential emergency calls in neighborhoods not currently accessible.
We did make some means to go through the woods on the backside if we needed to bring them out for a medical emergency or something like that by carrying them out.
Preparing for even more rain in the coming days.